welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me on a Technique Tuesday. First of all, I must apologise if you could hear my dog barking. I have tried to start this video about 3 times already today, and each time I press the record button she starts barking. So we're just going for it now. So third time lucky, let's hope. So, as I say, thank you for joining me this morning for a Technique Tuesday. Today we are going to be using this beautiful stamp set, Blossoms in Bloom. It can be found on page 20 of the annual catalogue. If you don't have an annual catalogue and you would like one, please do drop me a line and I will get one to you in the post straight away, no problems. Now this stamp set comes with some dies as well. So we've got them just here, which we will be using all of them today, and the reason we're using it as a technique is we're actually going to use some adhesive sheets that you can find in the annual catalogue that will help us to create this beautiful card. So let me pop that aside there and I will bring in our supplies. 2 seconds. All right. So here we go. So as I said, we're using the Blossoms in Bloom stamp set. We are going to be using these adhesive sheets. Now you get 12 of these sheets in a pack like this, and it comes, I think this is, yeah, it's 12 by 6, these ones. And then you can use them, they come divided into strips. So you can use them as strips or you can use them as holes, whichever you prefer. Okay, so let me show you what else we're going to need. So I have got 2 pieces of cardstock, Calypso Coral and Pale Papaya, both measuring 4.5 by 6 inches. Okay, and I have our base card, which is in Petal Pink, that measures 8 by 5 3/4 and scored at the 4 mark, which we will then burnish. Okay. Alongside of those, we also have a piece of sentiment, white cardstock for the sentiment, which is 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. And that can pop up there. And then I have 2 pieces of card, which are measuring at 3 3/4 by 5.5. One's for the inside and one is for the outside. Okay, so let's put that aside for a second, and we will start with the stamping. I'm actually going to use my Stamparatus today. I do have a stamp big enough for this, but I find that the Stamparatus is probably going to be better. So I'm going to pop my stamp set there so that the lid of this can sit here quite nicely. Right, I'm just going to put the first one down and see if I can get it as straight as possible. I'm going to bring this over just so I can see. No, that's too far, so I need to bring that over that way a bit. Oh, gone too far. I always go too far, don't you? Let's see if that fits. One more. Okay, perfect. Right, so I'm just going to hold that down, bring my magnet over just to hold it in place, just double check. Yep, I'm happy with that. And what I'm going to use is the Petal Pink, and I am going to stamp the ink up the stamp as best as I can. Right, I think that's pretty well inked up. I'm then going to bring this over and press down as firmly as I can. Now, of course, the advantage of a Stamparatus is if you do not cover it up completely like that bit there, you can go back and do so. I always think that's quite an easy thing to do with a Stamparatus. Okay, I'm going to bring in my second piece, and I'm just going to pull that out, pop my second piece up there. Let's hope I've got it near to in the correct place. Bring it over. Look at that, perfect. Okay, and then what again I'm just going to do is I'm just rubbing it around so it gives almost like a water mark. Look at that, didn't even come out. Wow. It was meant to be like a watermark. Okay, so let's try that again. It's obviously used up all the ink when I use the last piece. So let's see if we can do that. And we will just tread lightly over this one rather than full force. Lift it up. Oh, that was treading lightly, wasn't it? And a bit more down here. Okay, it's going to be one of those days, obviously. I wonder if I'm just going to stand up and press. I wonder if I just didn't ink. Oh no, there we go. So there is the inside of the card, and what I'm going to do is I'm making it a get well soon card. So I'm going to bring in my Calypso Coral, ink up my sentiment, yep, I'm happy with that. Ink it up again, and then we can just pop that in there, and then you can write on it as best wishes as whatever else you would like to put. So that is our inside layer done, so I can pop that aside. I can now close this, pop this aside, and we can get on with the rest. Okay, so bringing back the front cover, what we're going to do now is we're going to create the layers that go on top of the card that are like. So these two, if I show you up, we've got two layers here. We've got the Gorgeous Grape layer and then a very thin Blackberry Bliss layer. And these are created using our dies here. Okay, so this is the very thick layer, which is originally on that one, is in Gorgeous Grape, and we are going to create it in the Pale Papaya. Okay, and then we're going to do the Calypso Coral in the smaller version. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use our adhesive sheets. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a piece of cardstock, and what you do is they peel off like so. Okay, you just peel off like that. You just take it off and you stick it onto your cardstock. Okay, and it's as simple as that, and what you do is then you turn it over and you run it through your die. So that's what we were going to do with our two colours. Okay, so our Pale Papaya is the thicker version, like so, and our Calypso Coral is our darker version. I'm also going to run the separate flowers. Now these two are the bigger versions, and I'm not putting the sealant on these. I'm actually going to use, or the adhesive, I'm actually going to use dimensionals. However, when I run these two through the die cutting machine, they will have the backing on them. Okay, so let's pop those aside, and as you are probably well aware, I've already run these through my machine. Let's pop those in there, like so, they're out of the way and I don't lose anything. And I can bring in our colours. So when they come out, I'm just going to close this ink pad, I just noticed I've left it open. So when they come out like this. Okay, so that's the Pale Papaya and that's the Calypso Coral. Now what I like to do is to do it over the silicone mat because glue doesn't stick with silicone. I'm just going to pop the smaller flowers aside for the moment, like so. I'm just going to get rid of these extras, and then I'm just going to pop that in the bin, and then I'm going to bring in the thick layer that we've got here. Now taking my pointy tool, I'm just going to ease out all of the bits that I don't need. Okay, so those have come out. That one, this out. I think I've managed to do all of those without much fuss. Okay, so now we have our sealant on the back here, the adhesive. Now if you look, you can see that it's bent where I've put the strips on. Yeah, you can get your pointy toe under and then very carefully release it from the paper. There we go. And you can just peel it off slowly. Okay, so there's the first one. I'm actually going to pop these over here, because what I want to do is to be able to rest my sticky bit down and not have to worry that it's going to stick to the paper underneath. Okay, so I'm going to again lift this up. So this adhesive sheets are ideal for any really intricate dies that you may have in your stash. It just helps to saving you having to pop glue down, as in multi-purpose glue that you just tap on. You can do it with these sheets. Oh, excuse me if you could hear my tummy rumbling, I do apologise. Right, and then we just ease them off, like so. Comes out. So there we go. Now as you can see, it's quite sticky because it is sticking my fingers, there we go, to the paper. So cardstock. I'm just going to turn it around. I'm going to bring in my piece like that, and then I can show you that it goes over the top like this, and then you just layer it down. Okay, perfect. Just layer it down as best you can, and you will find it falls into place quite easily. And now it's all nicely stuck. When I've put on this layer, we can cut off that section, or if you prefer, you can cut it off now. So let's try that now. It'll be less thick to cut off. Okay, so we're just going to cut off the bits that are peeking over the edge. There we go. And I'm just going to take those out, stick down onto there, and now they are all stuck down nicely. So I'm happy with that, and now I can bring in my Calypso coral. So again, I'm just going to poke out with my pointy tool the innards that don't need to be attached. Now I suppose if you were a jigsaw minded kind of person, which I am in the winter, not in the summer so much, but definitely in the winter, you could pop out all these pieces and then add them, create different layers within. So what I mean is you could have this as a Calypso coral layer, then you could do it through with your pale papaya and then stick the innards back in. Okay, now as you probably can see, I'm struggling a little bit with this thinner layer, and what I found is if you can find a bit that you can lift, so let's put that over there, so maybe this bit here, because it is so intricate, as you pull up the pieces it generally brings away, like this bit here, you see the little bits that you've been trying to poke out, so it makes life a little easier. I'm just going to hold it down with my pointy toe, so as you can see again it's pulled those bits out that we don't need, so that is excellent. I'm going to pop these over here. Oh, not quite what I needed to do. There we go. How's it going over there, you? Right. And that bit can go over there as well. There. Now I'm just going to again release the backing of the paper. There we go. And then just tease it up, and it will release most of, not all of it, because there's one piece there, of the pieces that you need not to remain. Okay, so I'm just going to, there we go, that's one section. And let's do the last section. I assure you it is much easier than trying to get glue onto these tiny, tiny pieces of cardstock. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to leave those and then gradually pull those off as I work around the die. Come on, you. That's it, you can do it. And I'm holding it down with the pointy tool rather than my fingers, because I will get stuck to it. I just know this. There we go. So that's that one. So I can take that bit off. Come on. No, you don't want to. Let's see if I can get this piece. Oh, look at that. There we go. Right, okay. So I've got everything off bar this tiny bit here. I'm just going to poke that. There we go. That's that gone. Right. I won't tell you where it landed. Right in the crook. Well, I will. Right in the crook of my arm. So let's take that off. Okay. So now we have this delicate outlay to go over the top of this beautiful card. So what you're going to do is you're just going to ease it round to the way you like it, or you know where it's going to need to go, and then just hover over and just gently tap it down in place. If you're not happy with where it's going to be, you can always slightly erase it, you know, lift it up and reposition it. So as you can see, I've left a bit here that I didn't need, so I'm just going to lift it up and point that bit out. Okay. There's my bit. And on you. Okay, let's go the other way. That's it. And then we can take it out this way. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, I've lifted it up. I've got another piece here. I'm actually going to leave that bit. Oh no, look, it's going to come out perfect. Excellente. Right, so this piece isn't quite as I want it, so let's make sure it is in the correct place. There you go. So that's now layering much better. So obviously this bit here hasn't laid. What we need to do is just tip that there. Okay. So that's what's so brilliant about this adhesive. You can slightly manipulate it with the cardstock and then just press it down firmly once you're happy with where it is laying, if it's laying in the correct position. Okay, so that is for me in the correct position. Again, so I'm going to turn it off and just top off this layer. Now, as I say, this will work with any of our intricate dies. Sentiments that you want to use. There's a fish, with a seahorse as well that set that you can find in the annual catalogue that this would be ideal with. Okay, so that is our main base of the card sorted. And I'm now going to use these bits. So these are the ones that I haven't put the glue on the back with, the big flowers. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip those over and just add a dimensional to each section of that. So that's one to go in there, and one to go into there. Turn that over. There we are. And I've got a little bit excited or ahead of myself, and maybe I should have stuck these on first. So let's see. Hopefully we can still stick these on without any issues. So again, I'm just poking these through, or if you want to, lift up the paper and it should bring them all with it, or majority of them. There we go. Right, so let's have a look and see where this one, so this is the full flower. So let's see if I can work out, oops. Oh, there it is. Miles away. Is it that one? Whoa! Yes, there it is. Right, okay, so holding the cardstock, I'm just laying it over the oh, maybe actually I do apologise, it is the wrong piece, it is this piece. Okay, so as you can see, without pressing it, it won't stick too firmly, so that's ideal, because if you make a mistake like I've just done, there we go, look at that, that fits on there, perfect. And now I can bring the other one in, which will make more sense. So until you firmly place it down, your card will be quite easy to manipulate. See that one? Does seem to be. No. How weird is that? Yeah, there we go. No, try one more. Oh look, there we go. Is that it? There we go, all that figuring out where it's going to go. There we go, perfect. Right, so we now have our 2 flowers. Now, the thing I'm going to do now is, so that I don't end up with lots of bits all over my desk, I'm going to make sure these are all added in, these pieces. And then I'm just going to take my 2 flowers out before I lose those. Put that into the middle, and I'm just going to roll over this, and it will keep all my pieces together. And don't lose it. There we go. And then I can put that in the bin and bring in the rest of our paper. And I think in my haste I may have added my piece of card for my sentiment, but that's not a problem because I can recut that. Okay, so here is our base. We have 2 flowers, one here and one here, that you can put them on, or if you wish to, you could just pop them in place like so. I'm just trying to work out what is the best, because I could put it on that one and have it. Yes, I think I like that. So I'm going to do that. Take the backing off of this one. And I'm not going to put it so that it is the same way. I want it to be skew-if, I suppose you could say. So let's have a look. Okay, so there's one, and I'm going to do the same with this one, but I'm not actually going to have it over the edge. I'm going to bring it closer in. So I'm going to take the backing off of this, like so, and then I'm going to have the, like so. Okay, so there is no excess over the edge.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, thank you, Alexa. It's obviously going to be one of those days. Right, so we've done that, and now it can sit on the base of our card. Where are you? So that will sit on there. And what I want to do is I actually want to put a ribbon across, but I've actually left my ribbon across on the side. So before I add the ribbon, I'm going to add my Get Well Soon to the inside, like so. I'm just going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue, and across the top and a line across there. Pop that into there, like so, and then that will sit on there. I just need to get my ribbon, so bear with me for a second. I think I'm going to use this lovely, what's it called? It's open weave ribbon, and it is in soft succulent. There we go. So I just need to cut a section. So let's have a look. I'm going to make it that bit. So we're looking at around about 5.5 inches. Okay. Don't need that bit. Okay, so that's going to sit just in the middle there to give it a bit of colour. I'll turn it over, and I'm just going to run a piece of Stamp and Seal down here, so that the glue will sit in, the ribbon will stay in place. So let's work out. So I think I'm going to have it just about there. I'm just going to add that right round there, and then I'm just going to add that bit to wrap round there. There we go. Now I'm liking the layer to sit onto there. So again, bringing in the glue, I'm just going to adhere the back. Make sure that's straight. And then we're just going to layer that on top of the petal pink cardstock. There we are. Right, so the only thing I need to do is to add the sentiment. So as I did manage to throw away my sentiment piece of cardstock, I will recut that. Now if you want to, which is probably what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take my glue dots, and I'm just going to take one little glue dot, and because I know the sentiment is going to go in the middle, I'm just going to add it underneath here and pop it down, and that will hold your ribbon in place, and nobody will be able to see it because that's where the sentiment's going to go. So let's pop that aside. I've got a bit of scrap here beside me, so let's cut that down to 2.5. There we go. And then we're going to cut it into 1/2 inch. Make sure that's straight. There we go. And then just run that down. And now we have our piece. Oh, excuse me. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp that in, again, the Calypso Coral. There we go. And that will just sit there. Perfect. And we can add the, whoops, Get Well Soon to the middle of our card, like so, and I'm going to use dimensionals. So I'm going to put one there, one in the middle, and one at the end. and I'm happy with that. I'm just going to stick it down firmly. Now if you want to, you could add some gems onto here, which is what I did on the original card. So I'm just going to bring in some gems. Let's see what I've got that we can use. We could use... Oh, let's use these ones right down the bottom. Always the way. You can use these ones. And I'm going to use, excuse me, going to use the big one. So that will go onto there. Okay, and then one more into the middle of that one. Oops, that's not quite the middle. Let's try again. That's better. Right, okay, so there are our 2 cards using the Blossoms in Bloom stamp set and making really good use of the adhesive papers. Okay, so I hope you liked that technique for getting the layers onto our card bases. Once it's all cut out, it's pretty easy to stick down and maneuver. So let's hope you can have a go at that. I hope it works for you. It was great fun for me. I'm back again tomorrow with another card class, so if you're available, please do join me. Obviously it will be a video. Leave any comments and I will respond as soon as possible. If you're watching this by YouTube, I would love it if you would subscribe and give me a thumbs up. That would be great. And whenever you join me again, I look forward to seeing you. But whatever you do for the rest of the day, stay safe, take care, and lots of love. Bye.